We'll go ahead and call the Ellis County Public Building Commission meeting to order. Donna, please note that 2 are present and 1 is here via phone. Any changes to the agenda, anyone?
See none.
Approval of prior minutes, August 13th. Anyone have any changes?
No.
No.
Do not.
No? Stand approved as presented. Consideration of accounts payable.
There's 2 checks.
You should have 2 checks there in front of you, Mr. President. There's a bill from the architect and from the contractor.
If you tell me how much they are, I did not get copies of those.
I haven't seen any checks yet, so I don't know. Right here?
Yeah, right there, and then here. From Kenneth Brown Baird for public.
Okay. There you go, Barb, if you want to look at the numbers.
Okay.
And Adams, Round, Barron, and Ball will be next.
Okay. I move we accept the accounts payable to Paul Wertenberger Construction and Ben Moore Studio for in the amounts totaling $21,479.60.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. Next item is consideration of the audit from Adams, Brown, Barron, and Ball. Barb has that in front of her.
I do.
So, Mr. President, members of the commission, as you mentioned, this is our agreement for audit services from Adams, Brown, Barron, and Ball. This would be for a 3-year period. In discussions with members of the firm, this is just a little bit higher than what they have been charging us, and this is due to the increasing complexity of the PBC over time. So you can choose to enter into the agreement or direct staff to do something else.
It's more because it's gotten more complex.
You see the amounts on the last page.
Yeah, unlike the county audit, which we'll discuss later in the county commission meeting, the PBC, the books are on QuickBooks, and so they just have additional requirements that I don't think they anticipated back when the PBC was originally set up. So it's just gone up a little bit.
Okay.
And each of them amounts was to not exceed that.
Right.
Presented correct. Oh, hi, Melissa.
Oh, you just walked in while we were talking about
We
it.
might have somebody who can answer that more intelligently than I can.
Well, I hadn't seen the numbers because anyway, it looks fine to me. So I move that we approve the supervision of our Kansas Public Building Commission audit to Adams, Brown, Barron, and Ball in amounts not to exceed $4,500 for the years 2018, 2019, and 2020.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Donna. Move on next to the project manager report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Project Manager Philip Smith-Haynes. So our construction project at 601 Main is continuing. Last week, they shut down the extension for a period of time. We are, of course, as the commission knows, refacing the building with what they call EFS to help prevent water intrusion through the historic brick. And so in order to resurface the brick under the electrical panel, they had to take the electrical
off the
panel.
electrical panel.
And so as a consequence, the extension office closed on the Friday before Labor Day and then the Tuesday after Labor Day. Unfortunately, there was some rain over that weekend, and so they did not have power restored to the building when Extension returned on Wednesday morning. They did get it about between 9:30 and 10 that morning, so Extension was able to operate, and then they took the front door off. So the doors have arrived, and so the front door has now been replaced, and they are working on rebuilding the entry vestibule there. They did have to put in one header column beam, so there's a little funky little ceiling line in the front room now, around where the front reception desk will be, but that was because there was a curtain wall in the ceiling that they did not realize was there, so they needed to adequately support that. The work in the bathroom, the new ADA bathroom is largely complete, and they were just doing a little bit of touch-up grouting. So it's basically, at this point, just the glass work in the front part and then the exterior. And so hopefully with things drying up this week and the subcontractor coming off of a few other projects, they'll be able to make more progress on the exterior coating.
Great.
I'm sure we need to give thanks to the Extension office, because I'm sure that they were gracious about being knocked off of their electricity. I can't imagine them being otherwise.
They are always very gracious, yes.
Yes. So thank you.
Thank you, Project Manager.
Yes, thank you.
Any executive sessions this evening, Phil? Bill? No? Barb? None? We will adjourn at 5:07. That mean we're ready again? We'll go ahead and call the Ellis County Commission meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Donna, please note that two are still present and one is here via phone. Any change to the order of business this evening, ladies?
No?
No?
Barb, none? Okay.
No?
Prior minutes, August 13th, August 16th, primary election canvass, and September the 4th. There was some updates this afternoon. Was everyone aware of them that
Yes.
came through? Yes?
Yes.
Any
They were fine.
changes?
No.
Anyone?
I don't believe so.
Stand approved as presented. Thank you, Donna. Next item is the consent agenda, items A through G.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented, items A through G.
I will second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0, Donna. Issues from persons not on the order of business this evening. I think there's 5 people in the back that maybe want to say something. I'm not sure. Just can't see them yet. They're still coming in.
Why do
We will
have to
move
have-
on to fee schedule for the health department. Carrie, come up, please.
Kerry McHugh, Ellis County Health Services Director. Thank you, Mr. Chair and fellow commissioners. What you have before you, we've been working on a long time, but I'm not sure that there's ever been a document like this that has all of the fee schedule from the health department lined out in this manner that's clear, but we're attempting
I
to
like
get
that.
something, and
You did this.
every time we think we would get it completed, we'd remember something and have to go back. We've tried to make this as clear and concise as we can. And with that, I would stand for questions. It's pretty self-explanatory. It has all the different levels that we have. Now, I will tell you the first page, I call it the Marin portion of the scale, because until we had a practitioner on board, we really didn't need really the first 6 sections there. So that was a change with this year of having a nurse practitioner on board.
Now, Gary, thanks for putting that together. I guess in all of my years as a commissioner, I've never seen
Never
this.
seen it
so-
either.
So thank you for,
Well, I
Doing
can't
that.
take all the credit. I have some great staff that have worked hard on making sure that we're reasonable and consistent with.
and these are all fees, taking it before insurance kicks in and pays for some of
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah, this is the fee, and then from there, that's what we're going to bill the insurance company if they have insurance, or the client.
Well, thank you to you and your staff for putting this together then, and please pass
Appreciate
that on.
that.
Yes, thank you. I would appreciate the health department getting a very good thank you for bringing them up to date like other offices are.
Thank you, Commissioner McClellan.
Yes, it's nice. Are there any changes in prices?
From
I-
this document?
yes.
Not from this document.
From,
Yeah, there are. I mean, example, flu vaccine the regular flu went from 30 to 35, I think.
okay,
Same thing with the high dose. I think it went from 60 to 65. That's reflecting the change in price of the vaccines. It did not have flu block on there. That's a new product we did just this year. It's not made from the egg base that previous flu vaccines were, so we brought it in. It's designed to target those of us that are between 50 and 65, but where they would take the high dose. So it is a different product, so we've included all those things. You know, you can go back to the above where it says injections there. Before we had a nurse practitioner, we couldn't do the sports physicals because
Right.
So some of those items are new.
okay.
So.
All right, then the last question I have is, last year you came to the meeting and gave us flu shots.
Well, we
I
can
don't
do that.
It was very,
Okay. We'll do that. We're just now starting to get vaccines.
that's right, you
in.
did tell me that.
In fact, in the last couple of weeks, I think we got 100 doses of the flu vaccine just last week. So we're in the early stages of that. So we'll set that up and do that again.
So when can people come in and get flu shots?
They can come in any time now because, like, as I said, we're starting to get them. We're starting to establish some of our clinics that we do in the community. We go to Cedarview, we go to
Right,
Hazegood Sam's, and we go to several locations in the community. And if there's anybody watching that would want to establish a clinic, we'll be glad to do that. I know we've gone to, like, last year we went to Golden Plains Bank, and I'm not trying to pick
The
out
credit union.
anyone's
Golden Plains Credit Union.
credit union, I'm sorry.
There's a difference.
We'll go to any business that would like us to come. So,
It's just a really great service.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Gary.
thank you.
That's very good for the county.
No further questions. I'd ask for a motion to approve the fee schedule.
I move the fee schedule for the Ellis County Health Department be approved as presented.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the fee schedule as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Yes.
carries 3-0. I knew Barb was going to say yes. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
We'll
Thanks
move
for
on.
being here.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just said, repeated, thank you for being here.
We'll move on to Audit Services, County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. Tonight, I have in front of you an audit engagement letter with the firm of Adams, Brown, Barron, and Ball. Adams, Brown, Barron, and Ball has been the county's audit firm since 1992. and they have proposed to continue these services for an additional 3 years. I'm happy to report that they have also offered to continue those services at a reduced rate. And so I would recommend that the commission go ahead and approve that agreement and authorize the chair to sign. However, I will note that we have been approached by another out-of-town firm that is interested in providing audit services. So in the alternative, if you did not wish to go with Adams Brown, we could go out for an RFP.
I am very happy with what Adams Brown Baron Ball have done. However, I think it's fair to put it out for an RFP, which I'm surprised that, I know that we've been doing that in previous years, but we haven't lately. So, not that I want to give it to anybody out of town necessarily, but I do think we need RFPs. But since this is already public, I think we should continue with Adams Brown Baron and Ball to 2020 and then make sure that we do RFPs for that.
I so agree, and thank you, Melissa.
And I agree also, because they have done a wonderful job, and they are right there. We can walk up at any time and ask them questions, and they have been very helpful.
And thank you also for a reduced rate, Melissa.
Yes, thank you. I move we accept the audit engagement letter with Adams Brown Baron and Ball for an amount not to exceed $38,200 for the years 2018, 19, and 20.
Do we have a second?
Yes, I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0, Donna. Thank you again, Melissa, with your firm. Next item, revised personnel policy, county administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. So the item before you this evening comes after a long process. We last had the personnel policy before your commission in the spring of last year, updating a personnel manual that was at that time about 20 years old. That policy, however, was adopted in an environment in which the county was a union shop. And in December of last year, your commission adopted Resolution 2017-15, which opted us out of the Public Employer-Employee Relations Act. That will be effective December 31st of this year. So in recognition of the fact that we need to revise the rules to include both the existing personnel policy as well as the policies that were contained within the collective bargaining agreements, your commission on February 5th of this year formed a policy review committee for 2018, and that committee has met together with County Councilor Jeter on 8 occasions over the spring and summer, and has produced the document which is before you tonight. And I will note that I did hand out a revised copy on the dais this evening. There were 2 typographical errors from the version that was published. On page 10, we are using the Civic Ready notification instead of the Notify Me notification. And on page 21, there is a section reference that did not get updated, so it should refer to 12.7 rather than 10.6. But those are the only changes to the document that you received in your packets, which, as I said, was put together by the committee. I will note for the Commission's information that this policy really continues, clarifies, and consolidates existing rules regarding the employer-employee relationship. It does not attempt to make any substantive changes in the employer-employee relationship. If your commission wishes to provide direction to the committee about specific changes, the commission has the committee has indicated that they're willing to get back together again and consider additional changes if so desired. But with that, I would extend my thanks to the committee, and I'm sure I extend that on behalf of the commissioners as well, for their work, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Marcy, did you hear all that?
I sure did. I had looked at the corrections that he had sent me by email, and I think they are just fine. It's updated. I think they've done a very good job.
Thank you. Are there anything you'd like to add?
Well, I think that this needs to be reevaluated in January. There are some things that once we are not any longer under union specifications, that we need to look at this anew. And I've shared my thoughts with the county administrator, so he knows what I'm talking about. But I because this is just the union policy, personnel policy, and I don't think that reflects entirely the outside world as well.
I think we do have to adopt it before the end of the year, though. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm just saying that then we
It-
reopen it again in January.
It would be helpful to have a refreshed, I'll call it, policy in effect as of January 1, because we will need to
Pay period.
know what rules govern accrual of time, et cetera, that are not otherwise covered. So, yes, there's certainly no rush to adopt it this evening. The committee discussed when to bring it forward to the commissioners and felt bringing it forward sooner was preferable, just in case you wanted to make any further changes. So we can certainly hold it for a later date, but would like it adopted before the end of the year. And then, as Commissioner Wassinger stated, she's shared some other things with me that she'd like to see going forward. So,
If we do not approve this tonight, would the former personnel policy still be in effect?
yes, the recommendation is that you would actually adopt this effective January 1 of 2019, because there are certain provisions of this as written that would be, I wouldn't say they would be in conflict with the collective bargaining agreements, but they would have differing language than the collective bargaining agreements. So it's cleanest if this is adopted effective as of January 1, 2019.
It can be revised at any time.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
I also did talk to Phil today about it, because I had about a page of questions, and then after I talked to him, I was down to a quarter page of questions, and then the revised edition I haven't looked at yet, so. So I mean, we can do whatever, if you guys, whatever you feel comfortable with on how you want to do it. Marcy, any comment?
I think that we should go ahead and adopt it, and then if we want to change things after the first of the year, that's fine, because there will have to be some changes made.
Correct. Okay. Barb?
I'll move that the commission adopt the personnel policy as presented effective January 1st, 2019.
And I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0, Donna.
We'll add the caveat that I'd like it
Visited and
revisited in January.
please note that in the minutes, Donna. We'll move on to County Council report. Mr. Bill Jeter.
County Councilor Bill Jeter. I will have an update on tax foreclosure next week. I don't have anything for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. County Administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. My only report for this evening is that we have received a stack of ballots from Midwest Energy, their annual election for Board of Directors. So unless any of the commissioners has an objection, I will pass these along to the chair for him to cast votes on behalf of the county.
Sounds great.
I happen to know 3
That's
of
good.
them,
He can mark
so
the X.
I know 3 of them running.
I've already filled out 2 of my own, so
Well,
I've had experience, so I'll let you have the experience.
okay,
of
here we
this.
have one from Hayes, which is, or we have 2 from Hayes, don't we? 2
2.
from Hayes and 1 from Hoisington, and can't remember where the other one's from, but Palco. There you go. Thank you.
Great Bend, Scott City, Larned.
There you go. We're good. We will move on to County Commission reports. Marcy, would you like to go first?
Well, I guess I can't tell you anything except I'm being able to see pretty good. I had cataract surgery at 11:30 this morning, so
I'll hope you do well and recover from that soon.
I will. I'll just be wearing black glasses for a while.
There you go. Sun's supposed to be out this week. Barb?
I don't have anything to add at this time.
I went to the Northwest Kansas Highway Officials Association meeting, and I come back with a new job, I guess. Thanks
You're
to Mr.
president.
Ring. I guess I'm president now, so. But
Gotta
Bill
watch
also-
him.
Bill also has a new job back there. Bill is vice president.
Oh, even better. There you go.
Not sure he got railroaded in, but it almost seemed, well, maybe he got railroaded in, but it was all good.
That's what happens when you nominate someone else. They nominate you.
So we will be having the meeting next year, September the 4th or the 11th, either on 9/11 or 9/4 of next year. Things are already going well for planning. Bill and myself have been working together. We've got quite a few things lined out already. It will be held at the Ellis County Fairgrounds. We know what we're having for a meal. We know the United States flag will be flown very proudly with a crane. And the list goes on. I've been talking to multiple vendors, and I'm looking for a very good turnout. So we've hit the ground running, I guess. Thanks, Bill, for volunteering me, or however I got railroaded into that. But it was all good, so I guess I'm your president for a little bit, so it'll be fun.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
We have to
Congratulations.
curtsy or do anything
Oh,
like
heck
that?
no, geez, no. But if you need another job, I can give you one.
No.
But and I think it'll be very neat. We're going to definitely work on attendance. Attendance out there was maybe 60. I mean, our goal is to have 100 in Hayes, and I think we'll do it,
Okay,
I
good
think,
job.
pretty easy. So we're going to start calling multiple people, and we're going to change the format a little bit. I think it's been this way for ever, 20
Probably
plus,
too long.
probably 20 plus years. So I think we're going to have a little change in format, and we're going to kind of set it up the way KAC does their convention a little bit, where we have breakout sessions and not just listen to the same 3 people every year for the past 20 years. And we're going to have breakout sessions and do things a little different. So as long as I don't get blackballed before then, I think we're going to have a new convention in town. So that's all I had. Anything else brought before the commission this evening? Seeing none, we will adjourn at 5:28.